Okay. Okay, our final, and Christine, I did see your question. It's a great one. Maybe we can address that at the end here. Our final framework is leadership development. I have a series called Community Dissection, where I dissect a new community every other week with 1 to 2 community professionals. And I will tell you, after dissecting dozens of communities, this is one that appears to be one of the biggest struggles in communities today, along with onboarding, this pillar of community formation. So I want you to start with reflection on this one and think through what are some of the signals that a person will give if they are great for your community. And similar to onboarding, this leadership development tends to be something we like set and forget, or we have one person who rises up as a leader and we're like, awesome, we got one. Okay, like we don't really think about how do we foster leaders in our community? How do we look for leaders, even all the way in our onboarding? So I want you to think about what are some of the signals that someone will show that they could be a potential leader in your community. And then I want you to consider what can you do to woo them even closer into your community. The number one mistake I made early on in my community career was assuming that I knew right off the bat who was going to be the best leader in the community. Someone would apply and I'd be like, oh my God, this person's perfect. I'm like, I have all these plans for them. They're going to be the best leader ever. And then they'd like completely ghost and not show up in the community. And then I'd have somebody who I'm like, oh, I don't know if I don't know if this is going to work. And they would just absolutely crush it and become like this thriving leader. So don't put yourself in the position to determine for each person joining your community who is going to be a leader and who won't. Focus on the signals. Focus on the actions that someone will take and give everyone the opportunity to become a leader in your community. I use this really simple this really simple chart every month when I managed a community for 5 years. Every single month I would go back and I would say, who are our rising leaders, people who are showing potential with those signals? What's one thing I can do for them in this next month to woo them closer into leadership? And this doesn't have to be like you're always giving them something. It can be that you are inviting them into greater responsibility. So you might say, hey, Jen, you are so great. I've noticed you're so warm and welcoming with other members on our introduction. Would you start a welcoming committee and pick 1 or 2 other members who would be sort of like this warm, welcoming space for our new members? It doesn't have to necessarily be that you're always giving. It can be that you're inviting them into something new in the community. And then doing the same thing for your leaders. So those who are established, who have proven themselves, how do you continue to woo them? And no, I really approached leadership with an open hand because not everyone is going to be in a season of leadership all the time in your community, and that is completely okay. It's a very fluid leadership structure. So don't take it personally if someone was really involved as a leader and now they're not, but focus on identifying the definition of those leaders and focus on always encouraging people along the funnel of leadership.